The Wellbeing Radio app brings you fast and easy access to all of our content. Users can enjoy expert opinions, talk shows, relaxation music, mindfulness, meditations, and so much more. Our app has exclusive content including competitions, courses, and access to our founders' innovative Yoga Nidra sound journey, fused with binaural beats. Download the app now, available on iOS and Android. Wellbeing Radio, audio for mind, body, and soul.
Hey, it's Iona Russell, your personal freedom activator with Shine On Wellbeing Radio, audio for mind, body, and soul. And I'm sharing real talk tips and techniques for activating freedom from within your soul so that you can live a life of purpose and live your legacy now. So let's go and live it. Feeling fulfilled, happy, magnificent, and without the BS. And remember, that's the limiting belief systems. No swearing here. I'm an international author, speaker, transformational coach, and clinical hypnotherapist. And today, we're talking about the first gateway to inspired success from my 5 Portals program. And we had started talking last week about finding your purpose, and I was sort of talking into corporate people who were wanting to make a shift, make a change, because they were feeling disillusioned with the path of that they'd been told to want by society. You know, it's sold to us as the American dream. It's sold to us as basically the normal path. And I'm sure those of you who are listening are not always on that straight and narrow path, much like myself. There's twists and turns, and there's, different ways to go, and life's an adventure. So let's dive deeper into my first step in the process, because I think it's so important that we start at the beginning. And, a couple of shows ago, we were talking about the breath. And we've talked about sort of really tuning into the feelings that you want to have, how you want to show up in the world. Well, the first step, the first portal, is realignment. And when I say realignment, what does that sound like to you? My interpretation and what it means for me is it's about coming back to yourself. It's aligning back to who we are and who we were before society told us who we should be and what we should or shouldn't do, and tried to put us into that box that we want to burst out of, and we want to be more creative. And it's not always like by having purpose that I was talking into last week. Now, it's not always about, in the creativity of the business world or in corporate or entrepreneurial. It's about being creative, and maybe you're making art and that brings beauty to the world. Maybe you become a coach. Maybe you're providing something within your community. There's so many different ways that we can have a life of purpose. And each way is unique to each of us as individuals, and we get to choose. I believe we're born with this inner knowing, this deep, deep gift that we come with, because I believe we're all born beautiful, magnificent, and perfect. So it's about realigning and resetting back to our true, real, authentic selves. So how does that sound to all of you? So obviously, since I've already mentioned breath work, that's one of the first steps. It's because basically we want to wipe the slate clean and start at the beginning and get rid of all those extra layers. And we want to come back to this place of calm, inner peace, where we can start listening to that intuitive guidance, that our internal wisdom. That gut feeling you get and you just know. Quite often, though, we think of it in hindsight. We go, I knew I shouldn't have done that. But the more we do these practices, the easier it is for us to tune into our intuition, that gut feeling, our inner knowing, the higher wisdom, whatever it is you want to call it. We all have that innate knowing. So we can get there with meditation. But remember, I also say meditation doesn't have to be sitting cross-legged on a mat. It certainly doesn't. It can be done when you're in presence, when you're present in whatever it is you're doing. Going for a walk, creating art, sitting quietly, having a cup of coffee or tea to yourself in the morning. Maybe it's in those moments of stillness when you get time to yourself, where you just get to be in that moment. So meditation is so many things, and it's up to you to find out what works for you. Because remember, I say one size does not fit all. And of course, breath work is this, and we've briefly touched on that, but there's a wealth of knowledge out there. And I talk about it in my book. You can also Google so much about breath work on YouTube. And being present and in alignment, you have to be you get to be mindful, making conscious decisions, making conscious actions, to breathe consciously, to be present when you go for that walk, and expand your awareness and notice what you notice, but notice more than just like right what's in front of you. You know, that tunnel vision? Because I know when I've gone for a dog walk and I'm trying to rush, and normally going for a dog walk makes me grounded and it opens up my awareness, and I come back feeling sort of revitalized and energized. But then there are times where I've gone and I've frog marched basically, and I've got my head down, and I've got to get this over and done with. It's something I have to do. And then I get back home and, well, I don't feel any better. And I go, I realize I wasn't there. I wasn't mindful. And that's why, to me, meditation is about being present. It's about being mindful in what you're doing, which is why, for me, I say it can be any practice that gets you there in that moment. And if you can't sit still, I would really love you to try it. And maybe you do already. But it's creating those moments of calm, of being present, of being mindful. And this is a huge, huge stress reliever. We get clarity. I mean, I get all my best ideas. Well, quite frankly, I actually get some of my biggest inspirations when I'm in the shower. Maybe that's too much information. Sorry. But yeah, and another really great practice for being in that space is journaling. And there's so many different ways to journal, and there's prompts. You can just free write. So I'm going to go into a little bit about journaling and some prompts that I have on that for you after the break. So we'll be playing a song in a moment. But before we do, I invite you to kind of consider, in this moment of alignment, what is it you're doing for yourself? So self-love comes under this for me. Self-love is, it's about putting ourselves first. We've all heard the analogy, put on your own mask before you put on anybody else's. So this is in that moment of realignment and tuning in to what fills us up, what fills our cup up, and makes us, we're then giving, we're then in life from a full cup, and we give from the overfloweth. I can't remember the quote that goes with that. But we've heard people talk about, fill your cup up first. And so that's it. It's really doing these practices that it's about nurturing you from a soul level, from the inside out, being mindful, meditating, conscious breath work. And when was the last time you did something just for yourself? And if you do regularly do something for yourself, I would love to hear what it is. And you can drop me an email at iona@wellbeingradio.com. But for those of you that don't, maybe pick one day a week where you take care of yourself. And if you're super busy and you've got young kids, then maybe it's just that moment where you go and have a quiet bath, or maybe you're laughing at me going, there is no quiet in my house. But choose something that's just for you. Reading. I love reading. And when I get really busy, that seems to be the one thing that slips. Like, I love reading books. And I have a pile of books next to my bed. I've got books are basically my, I guess they're my addiction nowadays. And it's doing anything that just kind of gives you that space, brings you back to you, so that you can tune into that inner knowing and just find inner peace. And on that note, let's take a wee break. Let's listen to the song Sunshine on a Rainy Day by Melody featuring Little June. And welcome back. And as just before the break, we were talking about alignment, meditation, and one of the meditation practices that you can do is journaling. And so I'm going to share a little quote from my book, Making Waves, page 38. And it's by Dudinsky. And do not become a stranger to yourself by blending in. Isn't that just lovely? Do not become a stranger to yourself by blending in. Because you are magnificent. You are a diamond. You have so many gifts that only you can bring to the world. Only you can contribute. And also people will only hear it from you. And whether it's how you show up as a mother, how you show up at work, how you show up in your community, only you can do that. So what are your unique gifts? And so one of the journaling prompts that I mentioned in my book is just to contemplate what are your unique qualities. And that sounds like a pretty straightforward, simple question. But so often we get caught up in thinking about the things we still need to do, the things we're lacking in, getting more training, the things we've done wrong, or our long to-do list. But I'd like you to just really sit and think about it, write about it, visualize on this, and remember, what are your unique qualities? Because we all have them, and sometimes it's that thing that is so simple that you just do it easily, effortlessly, and other people will find it difficult. Or you may just think, well, surely everybody can do this. Everybody has this talent, but there's something that's unique about you. And all your life experiences contribute to this, because no two people, even if they go through the same experience, actually would describe it to you the same way. Like, it's even people who've gone for, let's say, the same training course. They've gone for the same training course. They've got the same qualifications, the same certifications, but they're looking at the world through their own eyes. It's their perception. It's not only about what's happening around them. It's how they're interpreting it from the inside with their own frame of reference. And so this makes us all completely uniquely different. Completely and uniquely different. And that is so beautiful. And we get to celebrate each other's differences and uniquenesses. I don't even know if uniquenesses is a word, but we can invent words today. And you really get to step into this and celebrate this. And you can do this, do it with a friend, share with each other what your unique qualities are. And so I want you to explore what your unique qualities are, celebrate them, because remember, it's about jumping out of that box which we've been told to conform to, or that others expect us to. Well, who said we have to fit into that box? So celebrate your unique qualities. And, it's like running barefoot along the shore in the sunshine, letting your inner spark shine bright and radiate. When you see somebody and you just it's like there's an inner light coming from within them, and you're drawn to people like that. And people just want to be around that. It's like they're a lighthouse, and it's their uniqueness that's shining through. They're not saying, behaving exactly how somebody else has been doing stuff. And this is the thing. So you get to create this tapping into your qualities, your uniqueness. And journaling is a brilliant way to get to uncover this. And also with journaling, I know that some people like to have a gratitude journal, so you can have a separate one for that. And I'm going to talk more into gratitude in the next show. But another great way to start your day or end your day with journaling is to basically literally do a brain dump. Get rid of all the stuff that's in your head. Because remember, we're realigning and resetting. So again, dump all the stuff. Get rid of all the stuff that you've been worrying about, that you're overthinking about. Write it down, because it really does help you feel better. It really does. It's like offloading it. Well, it becomes like, well, it depends on the severity, but it's like water off a duck's back. But don't hold it in. So you journal it out. And there's a practice called Morning Pages by, I can't remember her name, something Childs, but it's a book about the artist's way. And it's really part of that whole process is getting creative and doing it every day, every morning. You start your day like that. And this is why journaling is so important. And I consider journaling to be a meditative practice. And so going forward from today, just look at what your unique qualities are. What is it that lights you up from the inside? And start taking time out for yourself. And I know there's a lot of you will already be doing yoga, and maybe you are doing meditation in the traditional sense where you're sat cross-legged on a yoga mat. Make sure you're present, because sometimes we do these things effortlessly and easily, but we're not focused on them. Our mind wanders, or we're just going through the motions of doing it. So that's why I love to mix things up a bit and get creative with it. And celebrate yourself, celebrate your uniqueness, and be mindful in your actions and in your non-actions. Because if you're sat on a yoga mat meditating, you're in non-action, but you're being present, you're realigning. And this is where we really do get to start resetting you back to your factory resource settings, much like we do with our phones. We don't have a button we press, but really these are all the tips that you can do to start doing that, to reset back to your magnificent self before you started becoming what everybody else told you to be, before you started trying to fit into that box. And so you get to celebrate you. You get to be this magnificent diamond, this beautiful beaming light of love, because in all these activities and motions, we're stepping into the vibration of love. We're stepping into and celebrating. And that is uplifting, not getting dragged down by all the shoulds and things that are holding us back, that box. We're celebrating, we're uplifting. And we start with ourselves. It all starts with ourselves. So put that mask on yourself first. Do practices that bring you back to yourself. It's like coming home to yourself, to your own heart. And so on that note, I'm going to sign off, and you can find out all about me on the main page on Wellbeing Radio. Plus, you can go to my website, ionarussell.com, and I'm on all the usual platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And if you want to drop me an email, you can catch me at iona@wellbeingradio.co.uk. And so from my heart to yours, let go and live it. Shine on and shine bright.
Wellbeing Radio, audio for mind, body and soul. Online, on demand, on the go. Make sure you visit our website, wellbeingradio.co.uk.